Hi, everyone. Just popping in to let you know that we just launched our new monthly newsletter, which we've created to share nostalgic news, reviews, and reflections, along with some updates about our other projects. You can sign up for free on our Patreon to get these newsletters in your inbox every last Friday of the month. Thanks for listening.
My prediction for the book has concluded. There's more book.
Yeah.
What could possibly happen now? Turns out, the worst thing you've ever seen.
Welcome back to Nostalgia Club. This is a show where we talk about old things that make us nostalgic and sometimes new things that we just like. My name is Michael, and I am joined by...
Victoria.
And...
Jino.
Wow! And today we're talking about the final book in a trilogy of books, although it's not referred to as a trilogy, it's called a sequence, the Bartimaeus Sequence.
Yes, it used to be a trilogy, and then...
Oh, that's right.
He wrote
They messed it up.
Yeah.
We got one prequel.
Yeah. But
today...
this is the final.
Yes, we're talking about Ptolemy's Gate. It's really good.
It's really good. Go back and listen to our previous Bartimaeus episodes if you want to catch up on the last two books.
And hey, if you don't want to do that, and you're just here for the spoilers...
Okay.
We are very, very excited to be talking about this.
Yes.
Such a cool series, such amazing books with so much to say. And what a way to end the series. What a way to go. What a choice to make the all-powerful Ginny, Bartimaeus, into a little piece of slime for this entire book. It's really good.
He's
It's
super
so good.
weak. He's so tired.
Me too, Bartimaeus.
Yeah, of all the ways that reading these books as an adult has been really
Relatable.
elucidating and eye-opening. Yeah, and relatable, and I've enjoyed in ways I couldn't have enjoyed when I read them as a kid. Getting I'm tired is nice.
Yeah. So remind the listener, Michael, you were the only one of the three of us who read these as a kid.
Yeah, I read them once, and I don't even remember exactly when. And then as we were talking about books, this is 2 seasons ago or so, I was like, y'all ever read the Bartimaeus books?
No, this was
the first season.
5
Was it
seasons
the first
ago.
season?
It was the first season.
Yeah, the first season is
Wow.
when we did the first Bartimaeus episode. And then it took us 3 years to do the second one.
Time flies.
Yeah.
Well, in any case, here we are.
And what a wonderful recommendation.
I've been so glad to uncover these again. I didn't
Yeah.
know what to expect, and they've just been fantastic. And I'm so glad that you both have enjoyed them so much as well.
Incredible. You know what they say, Michael? Good author makes strong book. Strong book make happy reader. Happy reader make this podcast. This podcast make Weak Nation.
Is this the final time we will do the cycle of Empire?
No.
But that's right. We started the Cycle of Empire bit.
Yeah.
With the Amulet of Samarkand. Well, this is great. I honestly don't really know where to go from here, partly because we were going to record yesterday, and then we couldn't. But I was in Victoria's physical proximity, and so we both vomited Ptolemy's Gate stuff
we
at
cheated
each
a little
other.
bit. Usually we try not to talk about the thing before we talk about it on the podcast, but we just had so many thoughts.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure many of which we will repeat again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with vibes. We kind of got Michael's vibes coming back to this as a reread, but then Jino reading it for the first time.
Yes.
What did you think about this final book? Did it meet your expectations after the Golem's Eye? Were you surprised by anything?
Honestly, very surprised.
Yeah.
The book sets up the promise of revolution, right? That's what these 3 books have been leading up to. A lot of hints, the cycle of magical empires rising, the populace getting resistance to magic, and the empire becoming too greedy, too vast, too hungry. The populace rises up, and then mid-revolution, a second empire swoops in and takes over the control of the first one, thus continuing the cycle. So in this 3rd book, we're sort of expecting a twist on that revolution, because it can't just be more of the same, right? The protagonist needs to succeed. And we do get a twist, and we'll talk about it. And it came at a time I did not expect in the book, and it came in a form I did not expect, and then they twisted it again, and then they twisted it a 3rd time. Really, really good. Also, really glad I read this one. We've been listening to, I think like most of us have been listening to a really excellent audio narrator for these books previously, but he hasn't caught up with us. So, to no fault of his own, he doesn't know we exist, but he's really great. But I read this because you got this book for me for like 30 cents at like a farmer's market or something.
No, it was at the library.
At the library. At the library!
At the library! It was like the library has like its own little used bookstore, and the books go for like 50 cents to $1 for paperbacks and hardcovers.
And sometimes someone really wants to get rid of the last 2 books of the Bartimaeus Sequence. So we got them.
I got all 3, actually. I got the whole series for $1.50.
That's such
which
a
is
deal.
crazy.
Go to visit your local
crazy
library.
thing is I almost didn't, because at the time that I saw them, I had only read the first one. And usually my rule is like, oh, I don't buy books unless I've read it and I know that I really liked it and I would reread it. But I was like, it's such a good price. I can't pass that up, and the books are in good condition and everything. So I just on a whim decided to get all 3, and I'm so glad.
Yes. And I'm really glad I read this one physically.
Yes.
Because we talked about this before. They have the annotations. And you warned me about this, Victoria. The annotations, which before were really great, the footnotes, were really great world building and character building. In this book, suddenly they're plot relevant.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, awesome experience.
I half audiobooked and half read this. I started listening to the audiobook, and then I just got so into it that I was like, I need to read it to read faster.
Yes.
And the audiobook that I got was like the official one on Libby. And so it does read the footnotes, but I do still think the actual physical experience of going to the footnotes and returning to the main text is unique in this book. And it actually comes into play, which was so wonderful.
Yes, I agree. If you have a chance to experience it, to read it, go for it.
Yeah.
Really great. Also, again, as mentioned before, and as mentioned many times in our previous conversations unrecorded, I love the fact he's a little slime. He's a little goop. The progression of the characters and like the power like imbalance between them. So we're going to do a plot summary.
Yeah.
Probably this whole episode's going to be a plot summary.
Like the 2 others.
Yeah, this book is so long that for this one, we usually opt to just talk about the book as we give a plot summary.
Yeah.
For more context.
It took me, I don't know, like 2-3 weeks to get through the first or the second book. This one, I burned through it in like 2-3 days. That's how invested I was. It also helped that my power went out and I had nothing to do. So
But also, like halfway through the book, it basically enters like this nonstop mode.
Yeah, like endgame mode happens far sooner than you think endgame mode should happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready, listeners?
Victoria, vibes?
Oh yeah,
right.
my vibes. So I'm totally normal about this book, as you can tell. No, so as I said, I half audiobooked and half read it. And I finished the book and it destroyed me. And I texted Michael and I was like, Michael, what do you mean?
Welcome to the party.
That's how it ends. And I texted like 3 other people that hadn't read the book, but I was like, you have to read this. I need more people to talk about. And I was like, thank goodness we are talking about this on Nostalgia Club, because I don't think I could physically handle not talking about this book, like in an in-depth book club capacity, right? Also, I finished reading it at 9 a.m, and that was a mistake.
Because I just ruminating on it.
Because then I was like, I'm supposed to start my workday, and I can't. I physically cannot stop thinking about this book. And I literally spent an hour on Tumblr mourning the end of this book. Like, looking at what other people have said and posted, looking at fan art, just like went down a complete rabbit hole, read some really interesting things that people said, and that was like my post-mortem. And then I was like, you know what? I did fly through this book. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to listen to the last 6-7 chapters on audiobook. God.
I did the meme.
No, I had to say it again. I can't say 6-7.
No, come on.
I've sort of embraced it as a way to get a really visceral reaction out of people in our generation, because it's a very pained response, and the fact that I've sort of accepted it gives me a power over everyone around me that is sort of intoxicating.
It's like the same level as a pun.
Oh my gosh.
For context, for visual context, I did the hand thing.
No, I'm cutting it.
No.
Okay, fine. I went back and re-listened to the last few chapters on audiobook because I wanted to just get some more details and like experience the end of the book in a slower pace. So that took me about the past week basically to like slowly listen to the rest of the audiobook. And I got to the last chapter and I was like, it's been a week. It's probably more okay this time. I was not okay. I was once again distraught and just like emotionally devastated.
It is devastating.
So buckle up, listener, because I have feelings and thoughts about this book.
I'm really excited to hear these because I think the ending is perfect.
Okay. It is the best and most perfect way this book could have ended, and it makes me so sad because I can't see it going any other way. Like, we've read a lot of really great stuff on this show, and I've read some really great stuff in recent years when I got back into reading, but it's been so long since an entire series has had this impression on me. Yeah, like we've said, it's a perfect ending, and I have no notes, and yet I am so sad.
Yes.
That's basically it.
Yes. I'm going to say this now so we loop back on it later. I want to talk about it in comparison to the Gregor ending.
Okay. Sounds good.
So, who wants to start?
We begin with something.
In Alexandria.
We do.
Oh, yeah.
We
get
get
a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really good flashbacks.
We begin in Alexandria.
We begin in Alexandria, and someone's being
slightly
assassinated.
pre-Roman Egypt.
Yeah.
It's about to be Roman Egypt.
It's the Greek leaders of Egypt.
Yeah.
So like pre-Cleopatra?
Yeah, basically.
'Cause
I mean,
that's
it's all
right.
alternate history, these books are.
Yeah.
So this prologue basically features Bartimaeus' experience posing as a young boy prince, one of many, named Ptolemy, who is the subject of an assassination attempt by like 4 very deft human assassins. And Bartimaeus has his fun with them as he does, deflecting their blows and dispatching them one by one.
Is it implied that this order of assassins is the same order that the mercenary belongs to?
I don't know.
Okay.
There's a number of like open threads. It's possible.
There was a single line. Remember remember the mercenary from book 2 and also book 1? He's back. Surprise.
His name we learn is Varrock.
Yes. He says something about like my sept or like my order would not allow me to
have like lands and things.
Yeah. That felt like a subtle reference to these assassins. Like maybe there's like some sort of connection.
I didn't even pick up on that.
I don't know.
It
That's
could
my
be.
that's my crack theory.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I do like that not everything is 100% explained
It's such
in
a
the
big
world building. Yeah.
It is a big world. There's so much that could be plumbed, and Jonathan Stroud does such a good job. You could make a series incredibly long with this world and all the rules set up and all the different characters, but he's like, I know the story I want to tell.
Yeah.
And we're not even getting into too many of the mechanical details of the magic, even though I've implied all these things that are there. We're here for the character drama, more or less. But yeah, Bartimaeus dispatches these assassins going after Ptolemy. And we just get sort of this reveal that Ptolemy was hiding the whole time while Bartimaeus dealt with them. And we come to get our beginning inkling of this relationship that Bartimaeus had with this young, I guess, sort of like Greek-Egyptian prince.
Yes.
Back in Egypt many, many years ago, which he's referenced in the past because he often takes the physical form of a young boy. And that is, in fact, Ptolemy.
And it's also the last time we see Bartimaeus be real big and strong.
Yeah.
Well, we see him be big and
this
strong in the
book.
flashbacks.
Yeah.
But it's a hard cut from him deftly and often like toyingly destroying these assassins to him getting crushed under a urinal or something or a toilet.
Basically.
But an outhouse, because we cut back to the present.
Sorry, before we get into that, I do want to note at the very end of this prologue, we get Ptolemy calling Bartimaeus by the name Wreck-It.
Oh, yes.
Which is, it's just because like Bartimaeus' name is like so important in the series.
Yeah.
And then Ptolemy calls him something different. So it sets up a little bit of a mystery. I mean, we kind of like have learned a little bit about what their relationship was like, but we don't know the full extent. So then it's like, oh, why does he have a different name, etc.
Is it Rakit or is it Wreck-It?
In the audiobook, he pronounced it Wreck-It. So
Okay. Then
that's
that must be
what
it.
I'm going off of.
Yeah.
Wreck-It Ralph.
That's the first thing. Because I'd only ever heard it pronounced Rakit. And so, which I assume Wreck-It is correct because the official audiobook says that. But I'd never, again, like, it's when you read a word.
I mean, we've mispronounced names so many times. The whole like Matthias thing in Redwall was so even I get confused nowadays when I'm like, is it Matthias? Is it Matthias? Whatever.
Matthew.
But yes, Bartimaeus is in the present.
Yeah, present day, and I do mean like present day alternate universe London. His master, Nathaniel, aka John Mandrake, who's a man now, a man with a job. He's always had a job. That's not true. Anyway, so...
But he is the head of, like, the intelligence office.
Yeah,
the
they promoted this child to the head of
he's
MI6,
now 17.
basically.
So it's been 3 years since the end of the Golem's Eye.
I believe so.
Yeah.
God, there's so much context to get through. Basically, the government is in a bad state. There's a war in America that's going very poorly. Basically an entire generation of young men are being sent to die in the American wastes, specifically Boston, Massachusetts. And it's going real bad. The rest of the empire is fermenting. The empire's enemies are taking advantage of the weakness. And John Mandrake, a child, is in charge of the government's intelligence agency.
And the propaganda.
The rest of the government is full of inept bureaucrats who survived the many deaths of the previous books. And or very young people who have been promoted well above their stature and are now sort of like floundering in their position.
Yeah.
John Mandrake does not think he's floundering. Bartimaeus, who knows John Mandrake's real name Nathaniel and thus has great power over him, has been kept in this plane, summoned well past his dew point. Basically, when demons are summoned into the plane, demons being the pejorative term.
Spirits is like the term they prefer.
Yeah. When spirits are summoned into this plane, they slowly lose power because they need to return to the York pool they need to return to the other place to regain their essence. Basically, they need a nap. Bartimaeus needs a nap. He hasn't had a nap for months, maybe years. So
yeah, but Nathaniel refuses to dismiss him.
He's been doing a wide variety of tasks, from like literally menial tasks like dusting to battling insurgent demons.
Mm-hmm.
And he's having a terrible, terrible time. He banters with another demon. I don't remember. He's a Cyclops.
Azkaban, yeah.
Who is not super important to the plot. We learn that John Mandrake has an assistant named Mrs. Piper. He writes the propaganda, which no one cares about. And he has an important job in the ministry. He's well respected. He's very powerful.
He's also popular of all the magicians in like the high like parliamentary council or whatever. He is the most popular among the commoners.
Yeah.
Yeah, the commoners are starting to become very unhappy.
Yes.
With the government.
It's a low bar.
It's a low bar.
Yeah.
It's a low bar. There are also lots of instances of commoners displaying
magical resistance.
Yes, but not just like the vague resistance of book one, but they are like resistant. They can see the demons and they can shrug off like death spells.
Mm-hmm.
So
especially among kids, they describe like a whole class of kids or something.
Yeah, basically like Miss Piper shows up with like a list of reports of people who have displayed magical resistance, and John Mandrake notes they're all young.
Yeah.
So it's clear that commoners are being born with the ability to resist magic.
There's something kind of terrifying, existentially terrifying about being in this position of power your whole life and being like, I am powerful and invincible. And then like a horde of kids pops up and you hit them with like grenade and they go, a funny bubble bath for me. Get him. Oh no.
And he's not that much older than these people displaying magical resistance.
Yeah.
So
the pressure on him is enormous and he's incredibly unlikable.
Yeah, at this point, because we've seen Nathaniel through 2 books already, he is at his peak unlikableness in this book.
But it's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to watch him pretend to be a grown-up.
Mm-hmm.
And functionally, he is. We also meet Kitty Jones, who is alive. Hooray!
Yay!
So
at the end of the
That's kind of her attitude, though. She's hiding her. She's got 2 different identities.
Right.
Yeah,
she's shaved
got
her hair.
fake papers. She's cut her hair. She's working multiple jobs.
Time skip, she looks awesome.
Yeah.
We assume.
Yeah.
Actually, she's having a hard time.
But she probably looks awesome.
Yeah.
In my head, she looks awesome. So she is not only working at basically like a little bar.
Yeah.
As a barmaid, but then also as a side gig, she is a magician's assistant.
Oh, this is so cool.
She works for a magician called Mr. Button.
Or because her friend Jacob Piernick, whose family they sent him off to the continent, but she was working for his family for a little bit, like delivering books. And so she meets this older, kind of like forgotten about magician at his sort of like rotting estate sort of thing. This like, I don't know, little townhouse thing. What's a townhouse actually?
A townhouse is...
like a town collection of houses.
A townhouse is sort of just like a smaller house. I don't know what the official definition of it is.
It's like, imagine the square footage of like a single family home, but then take that square footage and like stack it on top of each other. So it's like a very like thin, tall house with lots of floors.
Okay.
And the rooms are all kind of compressed together.
That's kind of the vibe, I think.
Yeah.
My uncle lived in a townhouse in Houston, and whenever I went in it, I got existentially scared because the hallways were too thin and the ceilings were too tall and the stairways were too long. And I was like, where are all the rooms? Compacted together somewhere. Where am I? Get me out of here.
Well, that's the vibe of the house of Mr. Button, who's this magician that Kitty delivers some books to and then ends up getting a side gig with because she realizes that he has too many books.
He has a lot of books. His recent assistant got sent to America. And so he is short on help. And she's like, well, I can help. And she's very charismatic and able to talk her way into it, which is very cool. I honestly, like at the end of The Golem's Eye, when Kitty decided to stay in London, I knew that she was going to study something with magic, like the history of magic, I assumed. But I never expected her to literally learn magic.
Yeah. And she's a very
sick.
specific goal, too, which you learn about. If I could Mr. Button tangent.
Yeah.
We meet a lot of really interesting magician perspectives this book. Because before, most of the magician perspectives we meet are, I want power and I want more power. But now we spend more time with underling magicians like Mrs. Piper, who are sort of like trying to do their job, and they're sort of portrayed as sympathetic. And also Mr. Button, who has like been ousted by the power structure and is upset by it. But crucially, even though Mrs. Piper and Mr. Button are...
I think it's just Miss Piper, by the way.
Miss Piper...
She's not married.
True. I don't know. I didn't ask her. Miss Piper and Mr. Button are both sort of like not really benefiting from the system, but they still see themselves as very high above commoners and in fact are insulted and look down on commoners. Like their presence like icks them.
Yeah. But they're also like not resentful to the power structure.
Yeah. It's a really fascinating...
They can criticize it, they see the issues, but they're not like personally wounded by their lack of power and influence.
Still benefiting, but not quite as much.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like the upper middle class of magicians, and like a lower class doesn't exist. And we also meet magicians who are in that position, but are actively working against the government for selfish reasons. And so we meet the people who could maybe enact change like in a generation or two, but like they're not quite there yet. And they're still too like locked into like the magician hierarchy to like really step back and see the problems, but they can feel the problems a little bit.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating. And he's one of my favorites.
Yeah, Mr. Button's not bad.
He's like sort of likable and sort of not likable.
Yeah, like he has his very prejudiced opinions, obviously.
Yeah.
But he is still...
He's a funny old man.
Yeah. And he lets Kitty kind of just do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
So it's pretty nice.
It is funny how he'll just sort of toss off comments, almost unaware, like Kitty is a commoner and he knows it, but he'll just toss off comments about, these commoners, what do they think they know?
Yeah.
Kitty, help.
And it's great because you see Kitty slowly work her way into him trusting her more and giving her more responsibility. Like at first, all she's doing is organizing his books and running errands for him. But over time, she starts being like, well, but like, wouldn't it be more efficient if you could just summon spirits and just talk to them, and that would really expedite your research? And he's like, oh, yeah, but I can't really do summonings anymore. And she's like, I could help you. And he like kind of waffles on it a bit, but then eventually he sees that it would be really helpful to have an assistant help him with the summoning spell. So Kitty is literally like drawing the pentagrams and like setting up the summoning rituals.
Pentacles.
Oh my God.
There's lots of magic terms in this book. It really drives home the point that magicians are a class of people. There's not anything inherently special about them. They just have access to knowledge. And like later in the books when Kitty's like, oh yeah, I summon demons, and the magicians are always like, impossible. And Kitty's like, why is it impossible?
I just learned things.
It's literally you draw lines and then you put things and you say words. That's all it is.
Like you kept all the books for how to do this away from us, but I got access to the books and surprise, reading taught me.
But the magicians are so convinced of their own, like, there's something different about us. We're just, it's in our blood or whatever. And Kitty's like, it's literally not.
Yeah.
You're just rich. That's all it is.
Yeah. You're just rich and you've been educated about magic since you were young.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she starts learning how to do summonings because she wants to summon Bartimaeus and talk to him. And that's her main goal right now.
Yeah. Bartimaeus' main goal is to survive
go home.
and go home. John Mandrake's main goal is to find Mr. Hopkins with the help of Jane Farrar, who is very trustworthy, and you can trust her, John, and stop it.
The first scene they have together, which is, I love how they're described as like these two rivals, and they kind of like square off over the top of this like scrying glass thing that Farrar has. It's like this crystal. Like two sly cats surveying like a wounded mouse or something.
Yeah.
And there's two things that I laugh at in that conversation. Hold on, I gotta find it because it's just...
Michael is holding a copy of the book that he got at the library.
Wow, support your local libraries.
Yes, for all I know.
We're sponsored by Big Library. They have no money.
For all I know, this is the copy I read many years ago.
Ooh.
That's cool. You ever think about that? Going
That's
to a
pretty
library
sick.
and being like,
Yeah.
thousands of kids have read this book and it could have been me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I mean, I will never have that experience because I don't live in the same state where I grew up.
But we could send you back to Colorado. Are you thinking about the time where he's constantly thinking about how she smells?
Yes, there's two things in that scene. They're going over this, so Jane and John are going over this like scrying glass thing of Jane's, trying to get a look at two low-ranking magicians.
Yeah. And they're connected to Mr. Hopkins, but I don't think they know that yet.
Well, they suspect.
They suspect.
And so Jane had one of her imps, I believe, follow this like lower ranking magician and spy on him. But unfortunately, the imp was transformed as a mouse under the table, so couldn't get a good look at either person.
This anti-mouse propaganda
I know.
will not stand for.
That's a mouse with a job.
That's a mouse with a job.
No, because I'm glad you brought that up because specifically Jane this is her demon in the glass. And so she says, Yol was a mouse by the skirting board. He wished to be unobtrusive, but it was a costly error, wasn't it, Yol? And it says she stroked the surface of the orb, a voice from within whimpering and meek. Yes, mistress. I'm like, Jane, you gotta stop.
Yeah.
This is way too much.
Hey, Jane, gross.
Yeah. But throughout this whole conversation, Nathaniel's just like nodding along and listening and just like, what is this scent? Is that pomegranate? I think she's wearing pomegranate. Until eventually, like, he's like leaning over so far, like, towards this glass that she's like, John, if you lean over any farther, you're going to be in my lap. And he's like, ah!
He's infatuated with her, but in the weirdest way.
Yeah.
Because
he's the most like bog standard, high-powered government magician that we have ever seen him.
Yeah.
Where he has all this power and he's just like, my weird little fixation, my little like...
My
it's
weird
like,
little crush.
Remember Mr. Underwood, his original master?
Yeah.
The moments where Mr. Underwood would be in his office on his phone, like talking to his like last two confidants about like, how did everyone like my party? Did everyone like the party I threw?
Yeah.
It's like, this is John Mandrake's version of that. Like, Jane Farrar, what is she wearing? What is that perfume? She looks very nice. What are we talking about? Oh, right.
And the narration literally gets distracted whenever he gets distracted.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop laughing.
It's really, really good.
I was like, oh my God, man.
Yeah.
Even during like an important parliament meeting, he'll get distracted mid-conversation.
Yeah. The magicians are still invested in the plot lines from the second book because they don't have the full picture like we do.
They know there's someone in the government who's probably bad.
Yes. Spilling secrets.
Yeah.
Involved with...
Traitorous.
And so, like, there's this whole investigation going on. They're basically trying to catch a mole and, like, a network of traitors. But the Prime Minister, Devereaux, is in denial.
Yeah.
The war is going bad. The people are rising up. Enemy agents in our territory. Possible traitors in the government. That's fine. Have some chocolate and come to the play about me. Everything's fine because I'm Prime Minister. We have a nuclear bomb and I could use it anytime, but I'm going to put it in a box because I'm afraid.
I'm afraid someone else will be better at using the bomb than me. And
Yeah,
then I
like
won't
he
get to be
literally
Prime
can't
Minister.
use it. Everyone knows he's not powerful enough to, but he's afraid that another magician will be able... The bomb we were referring to is, of course, the staff of William Gladstone.
Yes.
And also the amulet, kind of.
It's hanging out in there.
Yeah,
It's
the
mainly
amulet's
the
there
staff.
too. Yeah.
Amulet's like, for a while...
Basically, all these like magical treasures that have been collected in the last 2 books are just locked in a vault because Devereaux is too afraid of his own people to use them.
There's a thread where John Mandrake's like, we need to do something decisive. We need to win the war in America, or we need to root out the traitors, or we need to stomp our foreign allies or foreign enemies. We need to do something because there's too many things at our gate, and we need to like remove at least one of them. So give someone the staff, send them to America, destroy Boston, Massachusetts. And he keeps like pushing this, and everyone looks at him like, oh, so you want the staff? And internally, John's like, the last time I tried to use the staff, I knocked myself out. but
it's been 3 years, so maybe I'm more powerful now.
Yeah. He's been humbled, but his ego has not been crushed.
Everybody can see the hunger in his eye.
But it is also, like, from his perspective, a very logical thing to think.
Yeah.
Like, we have this staff, use it.
Also, there's the little detail that the table that they all sit around. Devereaux had a round table for all these ministers, the council of 9 people or whatever to sit around so that they would all be perceived as equals. And then he immediately undermined it by giving himself a giant golden chair.
Yep.
And so everyone else around the table started getting these custom ornate chairs made.
That's so funny. Except for John and Whitwell?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, John's former mentor, now mortal enemy, or just like office bickering. There's also Makepeace, Quentin Makepeace, who's been badgering John to
go to his play.
Go to his plays because he's written a play about the Prime Minister from W word to W word. I can't remember what it was.
Something to Westminster.
Yeah. 2 British words. And John's like trying to juggle like the politics of like, I'm in this powerful government circle. I need to both be super docile, but also have results. I need to like not shake the boat, but also like shake it just enough to like stay there. And he's really frustrated by that. Also, Quentin keeps asking me to do stuff with him. Gross. A lot going on.
Well, it's kind of funny because like the book is very long.
The book is very long.
But if you really boil it down, not a terrible amount.
Yeah, so basically at this point, like we've got all the setup.
Yeah.
And then Bartimaeus basically forces Nathaniel to talk to him.
Yeah.
Because...
Oh, Bartimaeus has been taking the form of Kitty Jones.
Yes, Bartimaeus has been taking the form of Kitty, which is very funny.
Because he told Nathaniel that Kitty gave her life to save him from the golem.
And he also can sense that Kitty as a concept and a memory really bothers John Mandrake. And so he continues to transform as her. And after the aforementioned fight where he got stuck under a toilet, and then he's just so tired. And so first, John Mandrake sends his imp in the scrying glass to go fetch Bartimaeus. And Bartimaeus is like, no, he can come get me himself. And so finally, Nathaniel summons Bartimaeus into his office, but he's like, okay, Nathaniel's sitting here, Miss Piper's sitting at another desk, Bartimaeus is in the pentacle, and Nathaniel's like, Miss Piper, tell this demon, blah, 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 and Bartimaeus is like, tell John, blah, 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 and poor Miss Piper is having to play this stupid game of telephone with 2 people who refuse to talk to each other because they're just being petty. The main reason why Nathaniel refuses to dismiss Bartimaeus is because he's so terrified, at least this is what he says, He's terrified that someone else will summon Bartimaeus in the meantime.
Yeah.
Because Bartimaeus knows Nathaniel's true name. That's dangerous. But is that really the only reason? Or does he just like having Bartimaeus around? Because Bartimaeus is the only one who kind of calls him out on stuff and also knows what he was like as a kid, knows his full story. And,
the closest thing to a true friend and advisor.
Yes.
Which is very sad.
Yeah. Yes. So finally, Nathaniel says, just do this one last task. Track down Hopkins because he has this info from Jane.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's like, follow Jenkins.
Yes, Jenkins is the one that Jane was following. So he's like, follow Jenkins. Jenkins is supposedly going to meet up with someone tonight. If you just follow and get information, I will dismiss you. Yeah.
That happens a lot in this book where Nathaniel's like, just do this one simple thing and I'll dismiss you. And Bartimaeus is like, fine. Comes back. And Nathaniel's like, well, you did technically do it, but not in the way I wanted.
Yeah.
So do this other one simple thing. Bartimaeus is like, please.
Yeah.
You gotta send me back. I'm so tired.
So Bartimaeus follows Jenkins and does manage to get some information. Like he sees Jenkins meet up with all these like lesser magicians like Jino talked about. And they're all definitely up to something. No
about
good.
7 chairs. Get lots of rope.
Yeah.
Get a
You're
bunch
like-
of vans.
And we're like, okay, so a coup, right?
Yeah. But he still hasn't gotten the identity of Hopkins. Like no one really knows what Hopkins looks like yet. So Bartimaeus continues to follow Jenkins, ends up encountering the mercenary because Jenkins meets up with the mercenary, almost gets caught, but manages not to. He's like, okay, Jenkins is not important anymore. So he ends up latching onto the mercenary's 7-league boots,
Yeah.
which allow him to like travel far distances really quickly.
He's a lizard.
He's a lizard, and he follows the mercenary to who he presumes to be Hopkins, because the mercenary states, I am going to meet up with Hopkins today.
Yes.
Bartimaeus is like, awesome, that will get me my ticket home. Ends up encountering Hopkins and seeing his face for a moment until a bunch of cranes descend on him.
Yeah.
They're like a bunch of foliates or whatever.
Yes. So a bunch of foliates descend on him. He's not strong enough to fight them, much less a bunch of them.
He's like a frog.
So he transforms into a frog to get away.
Which is like out of everything. You turn into the thing cranes eat?
Yeah.
All right, bud.
It's really funny.
He's that, and then he's like an eel. He's like desperately trying to.
Yeah.
It's just a long chase sequence where he tries to get away, ends up causing like a huge fuss. Because you can imagine like if you're just like walking in the park and then like a bunch of cranes are chasing a frog through the park.
Yeah.
That's going to cause a lot of trouble. I think like a couple commoners end up getting injured.
Oh, it's a big event.
Yeah. He,
Yeah.
through hijinks, unleashes a large demon, which had been captured from America,
Right.
onto a host of commoners, which then decimates the commoners.
Because an important small world building detail, in order to distract the commoners from the war and everything, they've created like this like entertainment area.
It's kind of grotesque.
It's kind of
Yeah.
like half amusement park, half zoo.
And the zoo are Americans.
Yeah, it's not great. So yeah, a demon gets unleashed on the humans.
Meanwhile, John Mandrake's at a party.
Whoa! And
wow.
he's flirting with Jane.
He's feeling a little punchy because he got whapped when he talked about getting out the Staff of Gladstone.
Yeah.
And so he's feeling a little like, whatever.
Yeah, we start the book with John Mandrake at the highest he's ever been, and then he just descends down the ranks of, what's the term? Like-
Sad.
Yes, but also like his
ego.
his good graces
His good-
with
oh,
the
yeah.
prime minister and the council.
Right, like it starts off and Devereaux is like, Nathan or John
Literally.
Mandrake and Jane Farrar are my
Yeah.
2 right-hand people. But then he says one thing and suddenly the prime minister is like, I don't trust you anymore.
Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's like, I've got Bartimaeus on it. It's fine. At the party, there's some politics. Bartimaeus busts in, disrupts the party like crazy.
Yeah.
Huge faux pas. And Jane Farrar's like, oh, snap. Your demon's back. He's in a really bad state. But if we just torture the message out of him, then he'll die and we'll have the information about Hopkins and that all of our problems will be solved.
Yes.
And John Mandrake, in a moment of what he describes to himself as weakness, but we know as empathy, dismisses Bartimaeus finally.
Yeah.
Sends him back to the old place because he's like, I don't want my friend to die.
I just want to sit in this moment for a second because I think it's so fascinating how, because it's a Nathaniel chapter, and usually when it's like that character's point of view chapter, you get more insight into their thought processes and whatnot. But as soon as the frog leaps or crashes through the window, it pulls out and you no longer get his internal thoughts.
Yeah.
And so much is said in what's not said.
Yeah.
And I think it's really effective because I think Nathaniel is literally putting up his own mental blocks. Like he's putting up a wall for his feelings.
Yeah.
And realizes he actually does really care about Bartimaeus and he doesn't want him to die.
Mm-hmm.
Even though everyone around him is saying, it's so easy. This demon is just disposable. We just need the information. And it's also information that would allow Nathaniel to return to the prime minister's good graces, like you said. But without even realizing why he's doing it, he dismisses Bartimaeus. And I think that's like the key turning point of this book.
Yeah. There's a few moments where Nathaniel's world gets rocked. This is the first one in the book. But like this is the one that he doesn't realize is rocking.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, I don't know why I did that. Everything's falling apart for me now.
Yeah.
It's all, I guess, Bartimaeus. Before John Mandrake, Jane Farr had this like weird flirting alliance.
Yeah.
Now they are enemies.
Yes.
Jane Farr
is
is like, I'm taking down John.
Yeah.
Moving up in the world.
And she's like, everyone's been wondering what your weakness is. And now I finally know.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa.
You have feelings.
Yeah.
Two consequences from this. First, John Mandrake, he's now being summoned in front of like basically the grand jury and he might be indicted for like treason because he is dismissed Bartimaeus, didn't finish the mission. Spilled punch on my nice dress or whatever. My 3-piece suit has a stain on it. Whatever. Bartimaeus goes back to the other place.
For
a
5
moment.
minutes.
And then he's resummoned by Kitty Jones.
Yeah.
And they have this really, really great talk that I can't remember, but I know the outcome of.
It's basically Kitty summons Bartimaeus to implore him to help.
Yes.
Because she's like, you told me all this interesting stuff about the cycle of magic and empire. And she also really wants to know about Ptolemy because she's done her own research. In her process of figuring out like how to summon Bartimaeus, she's also learned a bit about Ptolemy and about Alexandria. And so she's like, please tell me about him and what your relationship was like. And at first, Bartimaeus tries to deny that he had a relationship with Ptolemy. But she's like, no, like I can tell that you care about him because you're always transformed as him. And so finally, he tells her a bit about Ptolemy and how he actually had a different view on the relationship between spirits and humans. And he was hoping to, like his life's mission was to change the master-servant relationship between spirits and humans.
Yeah.
To create like
a more equal partnership. Because Ptolemy and Bartimaeus, they had the closest you could possibly get to a equal friendship partnership.
Ptolemy, it's implied very early on, went the other way and like visited the other place.
Yes.
Did something that sort of inversed the traditional dynamic of a magician reaching into the other place and summoning a spirit of some kind in a way that binded them under their control.
Yeah.
It's implied that Ptolemy basically did the opposite, and that created this bond of trust. And that his hope was that this would then redefine the very relationship that spirits and people could have together, and that his attempt at visiting the other place and redefining this relationship would be but the first of a long line of people doing this over and over, which we know did not come to pass.
Yeah, because unfortunately, and we don't yet know exactly why or how it happened, Ptolemy died young.
Yeah. There was a consequence, and his cousin, the king, is not happy with him. Because Ptolemy is popular.
We are getting more flashbacks into Alexandria at this point.
Ptolemy is very popular with the people because he can do magic and the people start to realize he can fix their problems and that Ptolemy is actually nice. And so he's sending Bartimaeus and his other demons, who also really respect Ptolemy, out to fix the people's problems. Also, Ptolemy gives his demons vacation time, which is great. He's like, hey, take a week off. And Bartimaeus is like, for real? And Ptolemy's like,
so
go
that's
anywhere.
how Bartimaeus gets to like explore the world.
Yeah. That's how he gets to see the good parts of the world.
Yeah.
Not just, now I'm a magical slave to some magician. But Ptolemy's cousin, not king, Pharaoh, who is very unpopular, becomes, as pharaohs do, incredibly paranoid that Ptolemy is going to like rise up, which is ridiculous because all Ptolemy wants to do is read books and do cool magic. So there's the implication, heavily implied, that one, Ptolemy was assassinated, because we get that assassination scene at the beginning, or Ptolemy went through the gates, which is what they call the process of going to the other place as a magician, and something really terrible happened.
Yeah.
Or, because Bartimaeus keeps saying Ptolemy changed, Ptolemy came back wrong.
Yeah.
And became a cruel magician or something.
That's
like
what
that.
I thought happened. I was really worried that Ptolemy became bad.
Yeah.
But then I kept thinking, well, but Bartimaeus obviously still has a lot of affection for Ptolemy, so I don't think that necessarily happened.
But he kept saying, like, this is Ptolemy before he changed.
Yeah.
This is Ptolemy before everything
And he said
went
specifically in that conversation with Kitty, the reason why I transform as Ptolemy is because I'm reminding him of who he was before he changed.
Yeah. And we learned later there was like a physical change.
Yeah.
But we don't know that yet.
Yeah. So essentially in this conversation, though, like Kitty is frustrated because Bartimaeus won't help her. Because basically, like, Bartimaeus is like, we can't change anything. Like, I can tell you about Ptolemy and his hope for how things would change, but effectively,
Nothing did change.
Nothing did change. He was not successful. You and I are not going to be successful either.
He's like, our dynamic and what you're hoping for hasn't even reached the level that Ptolemy's did, and Ptolemy himself failed.
Yeah.
And Kitty's whole thing is, what does it take? And Bartimaeus is like, you have to give me the power. You have to trust me the way that he did. But you won't even do that. You won't even step out of this pentacle.
Yeah.
Because that'll place you firmly within my ability to demolish you. And I have every reason to. I have every reason to demolish you and send myself back to the other place. And Kitty's like, no, I'll do it. And she cannot bring herself to do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard when the giant scary demon's like, I will kill you. Step outside?
Yeah.
And Kitty's like, you did just tell me that you would kill me.
Yeah, and it just goes to show like why it is so difficult. Because even though these two characters are approaching each other in as good faith a conversation as possible, it's still unbalanced because Kitty summoned Bartimaeus and there's still this whole like pentacle setup and everything.
You got to give credit to Jonathan Stroud and the writing of the scene, because I guess it's like less Bartimaeus actively saying like, I'll get you if you do it, but you should do it just to prove it. It's like throughout the scene, the antagonism is growing between them. The conversation is not going the way that Kitty expects.
Yeah.
And Bartimaeus is saying like, you think we're on the same side. We're nowhere near the same side.
Yeah.
You are a magician now. You have joined the oppressors. You have enslaved me. I have no reason to want to work with you. You are effectively my enemy now. And by the time they reach the point in the conversation where he's like, do you want to put your trust in me? He's like heated. They're both heated. And he's egging her on. He's like, go ahead. Step out. You'll be fine. You'll be totally fine. Go ahead. Do it. And she's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, so the conversation ends and Kitty is just disappointed. She dismisses Bartimaeus and she realizes the last 3 years of work that she's been doing to summon him ended up amounting to nothing. And so then she goes back to work.
Yeah, there's not much you can do.
Yeah, she just goes back to work and...
What's that Andor quote? I will be forced to use the tools of my enemy to destroy them or something like that.
Yeah.
Like literally, becoming a magician.
Yeah.
But she goes back to work, and over the course of, we just see an example of what her normal sort of like, I don't know, Friday would look like at the bar, which is basically the commoners get together, they sort of, lock the door and they all talk about how dissatisfied they are and what they want to do, and nobody really has a clear answer. She does end up seeing Nick, who is the other last surviving member of the Resistance from Book 2, and he's still active and he's like trying to get people. He's like, we have an organization. It's something like the Commoners Alliance or whatever. And he's like, we want you all out there. And you get various attitudes from various people in the bar leaning towards him, but also going like, this doesn't seem like the way to do it. I don't, there's no way forward. Like there's no plan there.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of attitude from this one old woman who's like, oh, Sonny, you don't know what you're talking about. And at the end of the meeting, they all have this tradition where they all take a drink from a silver cup because iron and silver is like harmful to spirits. And the old lady is totally not suspiciously like, oh, I'll have a double next time, but I have to go. Let me out. And of course, she is a spirit, and she ends up like ashing one of the employees of the bar before they take her out.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, John Mandrake visits his friend, Quentin Makepeace, who is doing bad things.
An experiment.
So Quentin Makepeace in book 2 is implied to be this like sort of like Shakespeare-esque, like very frivolous, colorful, kind of dumb, like writer of plays. Charismatic. He's like Devereaux's like funny artist friend.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I do funny plays, and I just kind of skip around, but
I think Nathaniel had to be in some of them, which I thought was funny.
Yeah. He's got Devereaux's ear, which is important.
Yeah.
Turns out Quentin Makepeace is a really powerful magician, and he's doing a crazy experiment where he puts demons, a la the previous book where a demon was put into the bones of Gladstone. He's putting demons into live people. And the idea is
fun.
The demon goes in the person takes control of the demon, and then has all the demon powers. It can fly around and be Doctor Strange and all that stuff. And Quentin's like, we had one successful test subject because it was willing, and then I destroy commoners just to see if it works.
Poor Nick. It's Nick.
It's Nick.
He captures Nick and puts a demon in him, and it does not go well.
Yeah.
It's such a cinematic scene of Nathaniel basically being in Makepeace's kitchen
Yeah.
as Makepeace is like trying to make some food. He's got like an apron on, and he's just like cutting John off at every turn. He's like, envy is their problem, John. They're envious of you. And well, I'll come back to this, but just this very benign, kind of like frustrating, annoying, like John's at his wit's end, and he's like, oh my gosh, oh, I want to show you something. Okay, he gets his like cup of tea and he rounds the corner, to like a Pulp Fiction-esque like image of this guy tied to this chair inside a pentacle, like bound and gagged, like
Yeah, because up to this point, Nathaniel just finds hanging out with Makepeace kind of annoying, but he just does it because he knows that Makepeace is close to Devereaux, and he also, I think Makepeace makes him feel important, and so he begrudgingly hangs out with him.
Yeah. And at this point, Makepeace is his only ally.
Yeah.
And Makepeace really, really wants John Mandrake on his side for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, Nathaniel watches Makepeace do this whole thing, and then Nick is freaking out, obviously, and he lets it slip that he saw Kitty at the bar that she works.
Makepeace is like, who's that? And John Mandrake's like, you did what?
Yeah.
Literally seeing a ghost.
Yeah. Because he thought that she was dead, and so he leaves.
Nick
to
doesn't
go...
survive, does he?
No, he dies.
Do we know for sure?
We don't know for sure.
But it's probably...
But his body actively rejected the demon.
Yeah.
And it did not.
There's no way he
There's
survives.
no way he survived.
Yeah.
He tells Makepeace, like, free this man. And Makepeace is like, okay.
Yeah.
Wink.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Nick.
Yeah.
Nathaniel then summons Bartimaeus again. Well, he tried like the night before and he couldn't. And then he was like, no, someone got him. And he was really mad about it. So then he tries again.
Oh, yeah. Because he's like, you lied to me.
And then
it's the funniest scene.
It's the funniest scene. He's
it's a really
so
impactful
jealous.
scene too, but
he's literally like, who are you talking to?
He's like all disheveled, his like shirt's untucked, his hair's all messed up. Bartimaeus is super weak. He's like taking the form of a furry. He's taking the form of like a lioness warrior from ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
And they're both so weak. John has a spear, like a silver spear, and he's like jabbing. They're both stuck in their own pentacles, right? So he's like jabbing at Bartimaeus from the other pentacle, but he's like so unathletic that like he's missing him every time. And Bartimaeus is so weak that every attempt to parry the spear, he's just waving at the air. So they're just flailing at each other from two like sides of the room, like, hey. Nathaniel's like, you backstabbing, you lied to me, it's all your fault. I
Yeah.
love their dynamics so much.
It's really funny.
So
Bartimaeus is
funny.
like, what did you expect? I lie all the time. Are you surprised? This changes nothing. You're welcome. I saved your life.
Yeah.
Let me go back to sleep, please. The
So-
other guy who summoned... I didn't...
Yeah. Then Nathaniel sends Bartimaeus out with like 4 other Ginny.
Yeah, he's got like 4 other Ginny in his command.
This is fun because
Yeah.
it's kind of like a really bad heist movie.
Yeah. Literally, he sends.
He's like,
Then-
I'm sending you out with the 4 others who are at full power. You have to take Hopkins.
You just have to identify Hopkins because Bartimaeus is the only one who's seen Hopkins's face.
Yeah.
And so that's why he has to go. And so even though Bartimaeus is like, I'm so weak. So they go, they like sneak into Hopkins's hotel. They eat the hostess lady. They're really racist.
The hostess lady who you're like, oh, they're gonna kill
It's like
this
a
poor
front
woman.
desk hotel clerk.
And then she says the most racist thing you could possibly imagine. And then
the barbarian cultures.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, there she goes.
Yeah, so they locate Hopkins's room. They eat the lady. They go up to the door, but it's very heavily magical security system.
They have like an imp embedded in every door.
Yeah.
To be like, hello.
So they triggered the alarms.
Poor imp. It's like, I am bound to stop you. Please don't kill me.
They end up having this huge altercation with Hopkins. Bartimaeus is like, well, he doesn't seem to have a lot of magical power, but there's just something off about him. They
He seems
chase him.
vaguely familiar.
Yeah, they like chase him through the hotel. Hopkins ends up killing the other 4 Ginny.
He like levitates into the air and he's like, you fools.
Yeah.
Behold my power.
And Bartimaeus is like, oh, that's Farquhar
From book 1.
from book 1.
My arch enemy.
My arch enemy. That's crazy. Why are you speaking with Farquhar's voice, but you're in Hopkins's body? And it turns out Hopkins is the guy.
He's the volunteer.
He's the volunteer. And Farquhar is the demon that got put in his body.
Yeah. And Hopkins is not in control.
Nope.
Hopkins is gone.
Yep.
It's just Farquhar in there now, and he's
Yep.
having a great time. There's a bit of like philosophical debate between demons who are in a human body and having a great time, and the rest of the demons who are like, okay, but you're sort of betraying everything we stand for. Also, isn't this objectively a worse existence? But the
Because
demons,
now you're stuck in the human's body, and
Yeah.
you can't be dismissed.
but the demons are so twisted, they get into this more later, but they're so twisted by the thousands of years of slavery
Yeah.
that now they're like, we don't care what happens to us. We want vengeance and we want suffering for the humans.
Mm-hmm.
Any cost. And Bartimaeus is like, but like the sacrifice you're making is too great. And so there is this back and forth that happens between Bartimaeus and multiple of the characters.
Yeah.
The important thing is the demons get steamrolled. The heist goes bad, and Bartimaeus
Is basically captured
And-
by Farquhar.
he's put in soup.
He's put in...
In a silver bowl.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a bowl of like clam chowder, basically, fish soup.
Setting up Michael's favorite moment. We'll get to it
Yeah.
later.
And then Bartimaeus is like, after the silver lid is put on, he's like, there's a chance I may be able to muster a small detonation to blow the lid off and escape so long as Farquhar doesn't put like a brick on top of the lid. And then Farquhar detonates the entire structure and
Yeah.
collapses it on top of the soup thing.
You really think like, okay, how's he getting out of this one? Oh, he's not getting out of
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah. At the end of the chapter, he's like, he basically dissolves into unconsciousness in a way.
Yeah. John Mandrake goes to see Kitty.
Yes. He goes to find Kitty. He finds her. She goes with
wait. Before he goes see his old tutor.
him. Yes.
Another one of my favorite scenes.
Yes. Good scene.
Right. Okay. So, because
This comes before he speaks to Bartimaeus
yes,
again.
Yes.
This is why he's
Because
so
of the
salty.
because of the frog incident, he is having an emotional breakdown.
Yes.
He's
like, my
crashing
career's
out.
over.
He's like, my career's over. I have no allies. Bartimaeus betrayed me. He's gone now, and I can't summon him. So I guess I'm going to see my old tutor, whose name is Miss Luteans?
Luteans?
Yeah. The one
Luteans?
person who was truly nice to me,
Yes.
like one of the only people who ever sacrificed something for me. And I'm feeling very sad and lonely and like a child again, which he is.
Yeah.
He's 17. And so he goes to seek her out. And don't go good for him.
Yes, she basically looks at him with disdain and disappointment and expresses it very strongly and even goes as far to say, I wish I hadn't saved you when Lovelace was torturing you, basically.
I mean, like, that's like from her perspective, like she basically raised someone who is now destroying her country.
Yeah.
And like in a roundabout way, but also a very direct way, massacring her entire population via war.
Yeah.
And so like she's full of like righteous anger and like justifiably so. And this is the second big wake up call for John Mandrake, aka Nathaniel. But this time he can feel the boat rocking. This time he's like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
There's like that scene is so good. There's so many lines. One is with he asks her if like do you ever see the kids that you tutored later on? And she says, my job is with children, not with the adults they become. And you're like, ooh. And towards the end of that conversation, he kind of like, the whole conversation is awkward and stilted, and he can't say the right thing or do the right thing, and he's aware of it in real time. So he's just like, oh, this is bad. Oh, I shouldn't have done this. As they're about to part, he kind of like offers to drive her, and she's like, no, it's fine. And he's like, and he realizes that, she knows his name, like she mentions it or something. And he goes, oh, by the way, that thing earlier, I think it should go without saying that you shouldn't, about my name. And she says, oh, that. And then she sort of like gives like a coarse laugh. And she says, it may surprise you to know that I've got better things to do with my time. Yes, even I, with my silly little unimportant job, don't have a great desire to betray the children I once worked with, no matter what they've become. Your birth name, Mr. Mandrake, is safe with me. Now I must go. I'm late for my work. And he kind of like yells after her, like, no, you don't understand. You're misinterpreting. But it's like thoroughly humiliated.
Yeah.
Absolutely cored out.
So by the time he goes to see Kitty, he has severed every single positive relationship in his life. Like the weird one with Jane Farrar, gone. Like Bartimaeus, you just had a big fight with him. Even this good memory has been tainted. And so now Kitty is like the one chance he has to like, please tell me I'm a good person. Obviously that doesn't happen.
Like, you saved me for some reason. Why did you save me?
Like,
and it even describes how he's like, when he thought she was dead, he had kind of like crystallized her in his mind.
Yeah.
As kind of like put this imagined version of her kind of on a little pedestal.
Yeah.
Kind of like a weird saint in a way.
Yeah.
And at the end of that conversation with Bartimaeus like calls him out, is basically like, this is why you've kept me here so long, because I'm the only one who knew you as a kid and you still feel like a child. And he's like, oh. Dunked.
Kitty, from her perspective, literally a demon killed her friend yesterday. And so when John Mandrake comes in, it's like, hello, I would like to speak to Kitty, revealing your secret identity.
Yeah.
Let's come have a stroll. And Kitty's like, I am so done with everything. And basically the same thing happens. John Mandrake's like, how are you? Thank you for saving my life. And Kitty's like, I hate you. And John's like, oh, no. Their very awkward and terrible reunion, at least from John's perspective. I think Kitty's kind of enjoying dunking on him a little bit. Interrupted by Quentin Makepeace. John, come to my play and bring your girlfriend. She's much better looking than you. I'll mention this several times. Continuing to dunk on John.
It's like a magical scry thing. So he just like appears in the air like, hello.
He's like a little imp.
Yeah.
Which there are literal imps in this world, but he's like a cartoon imp until he's not.
What a thing to call someone, like, you have imp energy.
They go to the play. It's weirdly short and bad. Devereaux loves it because it's about him. And John, from Makepeace's special viewing balcony, watches as the entire government of the British Empire is tricked into dismissing their demons and taking off their scrying glasses because please silence your phones before the show. And then row by row, they are bound and gagged by hordes of, quote, traitorous demons. There's one moment where the guy who had his shop wrecked in book 2. What's his name?
Sholto Pin.
Sholto Pin. He's the only one who doesn't take his scrying glass on because he wants to text during the movie. And so
it's a monocle.
His monocle. And so he has like a weird little last stand before he gets taken down. John Mandrake's watching all this like, oh, big coup. Uh-oh, big coup. Am I going to get cooed? And he looks at Quentin. Am I going to get cooed? And Quentin's like, yes, sort of. Knife to throat. The mercenary steps in. Kitty, for a moment, has an opportunity to like, don't look at me. I'm just a commoner. I'll slink out of here. Or do something to save John Mandrake again. And she acts again in John Mandrake's favor, further dunking on him. And she gets blasted with a death ray, basically. And John's like, oh, no. Everyone's dead. Of course, she doesn't die because she has resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And now the book gets crazy. Because this, for context, this happens halfway through the book.
Yeah.
The big revolution coup thing that I was expecting at the end happens in the middle. And so I'm like, my prediction for the book has concluded. There's more book.
Yeah.
What could possibly happen now? Turns out, the worst thing you've ever seen, in which the entire British government is loaded into the vans. Hey, the vans are back. Trucked off to Parliament, locked in rooms, and then Quentin Makepeace brings his conspirators in, reveals his plan. We're going to put demons in us to achieve ultimate power. John, you want to join in?
Because apparently the commoners like you the most out of all the council members. And also, and this is kind of what I mentioned earlier to come back to, the fact that Nathaniel, and at this point in the book, Nathaniel, who's like going by Nathaniel, I think more now, is having like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The book starts referring to him as Nathaniel again.
Yeah, he has like a break.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to be John Mandrake anymore. He sees the worst parts of magic in the Empire, and at a certain point he goes, I've realized this is bad, and I would like to stop it.
Yeah.
And yet from this point on, he's having like manifold realizations.
Yeah.
Like in every single chapter.
Yeah.
Full psychological breakdown and rebirth at the same time, which hurts a little bit, I think.
Yeah. And one of the things he realizes is like, oh, my like fantasizing about getting the Staff of Gladstone. Because he's like looking at Makepeace and he's like, this pathetic lunatic is like... he's trusting himself up as this grand, my play and my great plan. And he's like, he's pathetic. He's obsessed with himself. And he's just another, like, coup attemptee. And then he has this realization, Nathaniel does, of like, oh, like, and you realize that this is something that Makepeace saw in Nathaniel as well. Probably the same thing he saw in Lovelace and the same thing he saw in Duval, where he's like, he saw and Nathaniel realizes that desire I had to get the Staff of Gladstone and fix everything and make it right. If only I was in charge. If only I could do this thing. Yeah. Like, that's the same muscle in my brain that's been in the brain of all these other, like, conspirators and coup attempters.
He will bring peace and prosperity to his new empire.
And, of course, we get the reveal that Kitty is here and that Makepeace was so eager to have her along because Kitty met with him in book 2 when she went to the playhouse and got like the connection to Hopkins or something. Or like, got the information about how to get into Gladstone's vault.
Yeah.
Yes.
Makepeace was the puppeteer behind everything except not really because, am I missing anything? He put the demon in him.
Yep.
And he summons a bad demon.
He summons a demon that's like beyond the ranks of the jinn, the Afrits, the Marids. Summons a being called Nauda.
Because now you're done. And and he's like, you put the demon in you, and then you wrestle it for control, and then you win, and then you can fly now. And so he does it, and he's like, I did it. I win. It feels great. I'm not going to fly yet because, I'm tired. Everyone go into your things and put the demons in you, and then we'll bring the rest of the government in here, and they'll do it too. Or no, that's not a part of the plan. Whatever.
Yeah, no, it basically is. Oh wait, you're right.
So that's a part of
that's
Hopkins'
the twist.
plan.
Yeah.
So all the demons go in them, and then immediately the demons just take control immediately.
Yeah.
All of them.
Because technically the reason why they summon Nauda is because Hopkins, a.k.a. Farquhar, was kind of like whispering to Quentin Makepeace, like, don't you want to like summon just like the biggest, baddest demon?
The biggest clown you've ever seen.
Part 2.
Honk, honk. But really, Makepeace was the clown the entire
Yeah.
time.
So the demons then, this is the true revolution because the demons then take over all of their magicians.
Yes. The demons are now the government.
Yes.
And they are trying to learn how to use meat bodies.
Yeah.
Which gives, like, John has like 3 back-to-back escape attempts, all of which go bad.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, John and Kitty get locked. Now Nathaniel and Kitty get locked in a room and are basically like, you have maybe 20 minutes before you either die or join us.
Yeah.
Oh, he summons Bartimaeus back.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
This is one of the attempts that goes wrong.
Yeah.
Because he's like, okay, Quentin has told me to get into a circle and summon a demon into my body. Obviously, I'm not going to do that, but I do have to like play along. So I'm going to get in the pinnacle, and then I'm just going to summon my 4 powerful demons, and also Bartimaeus, who's super weak, and they're going to obliterate these wusses before they can do anything.
Yeah.
And we'll get it all under control. And so he gets in a pinnacle, and he's like, Askabal, Kakomadurin, blah, 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 blah. All of you to my side, kill the traitors. And Bartimaeus, who's the only one left alive and has been reduced to like a spoonful of protoplasm in a soup, just lands in the circle. And the only thing he says is, he just goes, saved. And then swivels and sees Farquhar and goes, oh.
It's so funny.
And then he's just a pyramid of slime for the rest of this scene, and it's so funny. Like, Nauda is like, Farquhar, who are you talking to? And Farquhar's like, it's Bartimaeus.
Farquhar is so furious that Bartimaeus is still alive, and he's like, my lord Nauda, Bartimaeus is a skeptic. He doesn't believe in our plan. And Nauda's like, we are all children of the other place.
Nauda is like weirdly a true revolutionary. He's like, all demons are equal.
That's true.
Like, we're all... He wants to lift up all demon kind. He also just wants to eat a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But like Bartimaeus disagrees with them philosophically,
Mm-hmm.
but like I guess on like a governmental level, Nauda is obliged to respect Bartimaeus because he wants to be a good leader or something.
He's like, on this, the great day of my victory, I will grant the wishes of even the most pathetic of my kin, which you are surely that. Bartimaeus is like, squelch.
Yeah. So Bartimaeus, dunking on the former John Mandrake one last time, saves his life again by
He's
saying...
basically like, my one wish is, please don't harm these 2 humans.
Yeah. And Nauda, bound by like demon logic, is like, all right, I guess I can't. That
He's
sucks.
like, you are truly perverted, Bartimaeus, to care for these humans such.
Literally gross.
But I did say I would honor your wishes, so fine.
Yeah. And so... Kitty...
Nathaniel dismisses Bartimaeus.
Yes.
Then they get locked in a room.
Yes.
Then they come up with a plan. Nathaniel's going to go get the Staff of Gladstone and the amulet. And Kitty is going to try and talk to Bartimaeus.
Yes. Kitty is going to go through Ptolemy's gates.
Yes.
Basically, they shake hands, are like, we're both going to die right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Nathaniel's like, that plan is crazy. And Kitty's like, do you have a better plan?
There's a moment where Kitty is like, honestly, things are looking up for me because they want to put a demon in you, but they said they'd maybe just make me a servant, and that's better than being dead.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Nathaniel's like, do you think they're going to actually fulfill that? It'll be like a day before they eat you. And then she full on like slaps him, and he's
Yeah.
like, oh, I deserve that.
yeah. Again, full psychological breakdown and rebirth. The mercenary comes in, grabs Nathaniel, says, well, we can't kill you, but we can put a demon in you. All right, here you go. And Nathaniel's like, rats.
I think he grabs both Kitty and Nathaniel.
Yes. Bringing them. So a terrible, terrible scene. Nauda, who's sitting on the throne, basically has a line of the government magicians in front of him. The tastiest, implied, I guess, the largest, he decides to eat. The rest get a choice. Put a demon in your head or die. All of the government says, put a demon in my head, because they're all cowards, except for Jessica Whitwell, who decides to go out like a badass and starts raining hellfire down on the demons. In that big distraction, John and Kitty manage to escape and run separate ways. And it's clear now that like John is very much like fully trying to save Kitty's life. Like he's like, that's like, number 1 priority is stop this. Number 2 priority is like make sure Kitty doesn't die. Kitty's like, my number 1 and number 2 priority are stop this. Kitty goes into a room, She knows how to do magic now. The spell is incredibly simple.
That's right, because she gets Nathaniel to translate Ptolemy's Apocrypha, which is written in Greek.
Yes.
And so she goes and begins to send her spirit to the other place. Meanwhile, Nathaniel encounters the mercenary again.
He's running to get the Staff of Gladstone.
Yeah. And he tries to, like, reason with the mercenary, like, hey, don't you realize this is bad? Join the humans. And the mercenary's like, nah. Nathaniel, using a bunch of information that we've learned before about, like, the traps and stuff, basically does everything in his power to outwit and destroy the mercenary, and almost succeeds.
When Nathaniel gets into the vault that has the Staff of Gladstone.
The pestilence.
Just like in book 2, there's a pestilence that will...
Yeah.
And it's very funny because he gets to the door and he like tries to open it and it won't budge. And he's running through his head and he's like, is it a hex lock? Is it this and that? And then he like... Yeah, it's a push. And he just pushes it instead and he goes, oh.
And he
it's a push
sees...
instead of a pull.
Big callback. He sees the amulet of Samarkand.
And
he's
he
like,
realizes in the moment, like, it can protect me from the pestilence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have to get there.
Run.
And so the mercenary's defeated. Nathaniel equips himself with the 3 most powerful artifacts on the earth. The staff, the amulet, and the 7 league boots. And then he's like, I am ready. I have like 1 hit point left.
Yeah, because the pestilence, he got to the amulet and it got rid of most of the it stopped the pestilence, but he's still very injured by the pestilence.
He's like burned, his skin's all scorched.
He's like,
so he's in bad shape.
Physically could not win a fight, even though I'm wielding the equivalent of like a Gundam. I can't, like, he's just like crawling back towards Kitty.
He finds Kitty.
Yeah.
And so what happened to Kitty is she's in the other place. She has this really fascinating conversation with Bartimaeus.
Oh, God, the other place description, I was reading it, and like there was the one moment in this book, which is ostensibly a book for young people. I was reading it, like, the language is going over my head a little bit. I don't know what is happening.
I mean, the point of it is it's meant to be almost indescribable.
Yeah.
Because the stark contrast between the human world and the other place is that the other place has no boundaries or limits. And in fact, all the spirits are essentially one.
Yes.
It's not like Bartimaeus is like floating in the ether in there and she can just find him. By returning to the other place, his essence becomes part of the other place.
He is everywhere and thus almost nowhere.
Yes.
And Kitty is also becoming everywhere, and she has to work really hard to form herself a thing to concentrate on, to not lose herself, which is like a ball and then a blob and then like a like a terrible human clay thing.
Yeah.
It's really trippy and it's really serene and it's sort of like existentially terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
But we get this really strong sense that demons are not naturally like these like crazy evil trickster killers.
Mm-hmm.
It's
They're
our
not
world.
naturally individuals.
Yeah. Our world
Yeah.
makes them like that.
That was huge to me when Bartimaeus reveals, like, we don't even really have names. It's just that the humans found a way to essentially, like, root out parts of our essence and give us names, and that's how they summon us.
Yeah. It adds so many layers to his experience with Ptolemy because he goes from this, like, really otherworldly, impossible to define, I am everything is me. And then he goes to somewhere where he is something, but he's able to explore the world and like this world is beautiful and like there's so many different shapes and like experiences and creatures and like, you know, things. And then over the next 2,000 years, he grows to hate it in a certain way because like his treatment has been so terrible. And so you kind of see like Nauda's perspective, but at the same time now with knowledge of the other place, you see why it's so terrible and so warped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And why it's such a mockery that all of these like spirits whose natural mode of existence is so very different from the individuated and like material kind of humans, why it's like such a farce for them to cram themselves into people and start basically like behaving like people in a way.
Yeah.
So basically Bartimaeus is like, you actually did it, Kitty. You've proved yourself. Yeah, I'll come back. Oh, you want me to do what? And Kitty's like, I want you to get in Nathaniel's head because he needs your power and you need his control of magic.
Yeah.
And
together.
his literal body
to
shield you from our world.
Yeah. And together you can do me one small favor in return for me doing this for you,
Mm-hmm.
which is, please save London.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kitty's body's literally dying because
Yeah.
her spirit's gone. That's the change, is that when she comes back, she's like physically older, she's weaker, she's like, her body died.
Mm-hmm. And Bartimaeus says that when Ptolemy went through the gate, he was there longer than Kitty even.
Yeah.
And so by the time Ptolemy got back, he had no memory. He couldn't walk or speak, basically. Like, it took him a while to even resummon Bartimaeus.
Yeah.
And so he's like, you gotta leave now and don't waste time, because hopefully you have a higher chance of like regaining mobile skills than Ptolemy. But that's part of why Ptolemy was able to be assassinated, was because he was weakened by his experience.
Yeah. He refused to leave the capital, even though Bartimaeus was like, Roman magicians are now in town. They are going to decimate you.
Yeah.
There are 5 of us. We cannot stop them, or however many there are. And so we get this one really tragic final sequence where Bartimaeus is ready to give up his life in a last stand to save Ptolemy. And Ptolemy, at the very last minute, dismisses Bartimaeus to save him and sacrifice himself instead.
Bartimaeus refers it to Ptolemy's last gift to him.
It's really, yeah.
I'm sorry, it breaks my heart. I also just, speaking of footnotes, there's this moment early in the book where,
when he's
talking to Nathaniel and he is transformed as the lioness, and he makes a mention that, I transform as a lion. Well, I guess it would be a lioness because I don't have a mane, and it's because manes block my vision, and it's hard for me to see. And you find out in that final scene with Ptolemy, the reason why Ptolemy got hurt is because Bartimaeus was transformed as a lion.
Yeah, they were going to escape.
Yeah.
And then because his peripherals were blocked by his mane.
And he says, I'll never transform as a lion with a mane again.
Wow. No, I did pick up on that.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's
so good.
The context is put in a footnote, and the actual reveal itself is one sentence.
Literally the entire book later.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And I was like, this is the single most devastating line I've ever read.
Ptolemy, too good for this world. Okay, so now we have the full Ptolemy context.
Yes.
You know everything. John Mandrake, there's a little side plot where his scry glass is an imp in it, who's really pissed.
This poor imp's been around since book one.
Yeah, he's like, please let me out. I'm so cramped. Nathaniel, now finally, after using the imp to one last time, find the demons, find the government, find Kitty. Awesome.
Dismissed.
Dismissed. Justice for imp finally done.
Yeah.
Basically, Kitty and Nathaniel find each other again, and they're both like, you look terrible. And then they both say, yes. Nathaniel summons Bartimaeus, and they're both so upset about being joined body and spirit. But eventually, Kitty is able to talk sense into them.
We get our trio.
It's so good.
And for a single glimmering moment, we get a vision of a dynamic that could frankly last many books, even though I'm glad that that this series ended the way it did.
And they're all 3 of them at their most powerful. Bartimaeus is a sludge, Nathaniel's almost dead, and Kitty's body has died. And so look at them.
Kitty it's implied that she basically kind of looks like she's in her 60s or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally, after much bickering, Bartimaeus goes to Nathaniel. They learn how to work together and walk, and Bartimaeus makes Nathaniel do the splits. It's very funny. And then they go off to kill the demons. Kitty goes off to free the government. The last vestiges are all of those middle to low rank magicians that we talked about earlier.
Clerks and assistants.
Clerks, Miss Piper.
And also Jane
Farrar.
And Jane Farrar. Jane Farrar's like, let me get the cops. The cops will save us.
The night police.
The night police.
My night police.
My
werewolves.
Yeah. Which is kind of sick, but also get out of here, Jane. Meanwhile, the rest of the government is kind of like, well, the commoners will be fine. We can lose a few thousand. The important thing is to secure the government. And Kitty's like, no. Get your limousines. We have to save the commoners. We have to help Nathaniel.
We have to save London. The whole place is going to burn.
Don't just save yourselves. And so...
most of that comes from Jane Farrar. She's doing the whole what do we care about? We lose a few hundred commoners. The most important thing is us.
Yeah.
You're like,
her speech turns the rest of the magicians on Kitty's side because they're just like, oh,
like,
is that what we sound like?
Yeah.
Yee.
And so we get this incredible montage of Nathaniel and Bartimaeus learning how to work together until they become basically this emotionless killing machine that like teleports around London just vaporizing demons.
It's really cool as an image to think of.
Yes. But also you can feel, we get Nathaniel like slowly losing his like, almost his will to live.
Yeah.
He's losing his emotions.
He like saves a couple commoners, like a mom and her kids, and they're terrified of him.
Yeah.
Because he's a magician and he's realizing with clarity now, like, oh, I'm the boogeyman. I'm the boogeyman to like all of these people.
Yeah.
Oh man, what do I do? If we win and I somehow don't die, what do I even do after this? I've got like nothing, virtually no one. And so like you said, he just cycles down into this like lower sentience mode of just like teleport, zap, just like.
There's this really great moment, again, the footnotes coming in, where when they're trying to work together, whenever Bartimaeus goes to a footnote, Nathaniel realizes that's happening and goes, hey, stop that. We're trying to focus.
Why did your mind just go in two different directions at once? And I was like, oh my God, we referenced the footnote.
Yeah.
Like a footnote gets like M-dashed, like cut off partway through, and you jump back up to Nathaniel going, stop it.
It's so good.
There's also a moment where Bartimaeus is describing like left, right, forward, duck. And then before he describes like, oh, there was a moment where we got stuck under a pond.
Yeah.
In a pond for a while. And then later it's described, oh, it's because I saw a duck. And Nathaniel took that as a direction and ducked under the water. Great.
It's very funny in this very harrowing sequence.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Kitty and the magicians are trying to get to like where Nathaniel was last seen. And there's this moment where Kitty realizes that the commoners are not just running from the demons, but attacking magicians. And so she tells magicians to like, get out of the way, otherwise you'll be torn apart.
Yeah.
Final battle. Farquaad, Nauda, a few big demons are in this giant, basically dome made of iron.
I think it's called the Glass Palace.
The Glass Palace.
It's sort of like a mall in a way.
Yeah.
But like made of a bunch of glass and iron bars. And it's like kind of a great setting for the finale where it's described as it's got like all of the accoutrement of Empire, but it's all just like very commercial, like tchotchkes and things.
Yeah.
There's like a carousel in the middle that Nauda's on top of, like writhing around. He's literally bursting out of Makepeace's body.
Ugh.
Yeah, because he's starting to, I mean, he was already too powerful for Makepeace's body to house him, but because he's been eating so many people, his essence is growing even larger and he's no longer being contained. And so he's starting to feel the pain of the world, basically.
He's like, where's Farquaad?
Yeah.
Oh, the pain.
Can you imagine a live action adaptation and you're casting Quentin Makepeace? And you're like, okay, so you're this funny little playwright man.
Yeah.
But if we get greenlit for the third book, you're
going to have some material to work with.
Yes.
Yeah.
You will. Have you tried prosthetics? Have you done prosthetic work?
Are you okay with looking gross?
Are you okay with, we're going to put you in front of a green screen for reasons.
Yeah.
Kitty has the amulet of Samarkand.
Right.
Yeah.
Nathaniel gives Kitty the amulet because he's like, you need this for protection, which comes in handy because she does have like a final encounter with like this one random demon.
I think it was the War Minister.
Oh, yeah.
I think it might have been.
Yeah. She like doesn't know who anyone is. So she's just like some guy.
With blonde, longish hair.
Yeah.
Who ran up, who like shot something at me and the amulet took care of it. So I just kind of ambled
It is
up
really
to
funny
him
when
and
she
stabbed him.
rescues the other magicians and they're like, who in the council's alive? She's like, I don't know who anyone is. But I assume anyone of importance is dead because they all got summoned into the big room.
Yeah. Oh, she's like, oh, yeah, you're John Mandrake. And Jane Farrar's like, what? Impossible.
Anyway, so Kitty has the amulet. I'm going to speed through like this final confrontation because we're getting too in the weeds a little bit. I know, but it's so good. Okay.
She makes it to the Glass Palace with the other magicians.
She makes it to the Glass Palace. Bartimaeus and Nathaniel have killed Farquaad in this final confrontation.
There's a great
yes
conversation where Farquaad kind of basically has to admit, like, I think I am perhaps too far gone.
Yeah.
But there's no way back for me.
Yeah. I also just want to highlight, because there's a moment earlier when they are like killing all these demons, and Nathaniel hesitates because he sees people he recognizes, even though he knows like the people I knew are dead, but it's still hard, obviously, to like look them in the eye and like zap them. And Bartimaeus is like, like these humans are so attached to people. And if I wasn't here, Nathaniel probably wouldn't be able to do anything. But in that last moment with Farquhar, Bartimaeus hesitates.
Yeah.
He can't do it. And Nathaniel is the one who makes the move to smite Farquhar from the earth.
Interesting.
And I just thought that was...
Yeah.
I mean, but it happens all the time where Bartimaeus is like, I don't care about people. And it's like, no, obviously you do care about people. But it's just like fun to like, even in the moments where Bartimaeus is at his full clarity, is still like, no, like, you got a little soul searching. You're lying to yourself a little bit. But yes, they defeat Farquhar.
At this point, Nathaniel's body is like partially paralyzed.
Yes, they did get
good.
hit very badly. And Bartimaeus knows that Nathaniel's hurt very badly, but is trying to disguise or just like kind of like hide it.
That doesn't happen quite yet.
Not yet. Sorry.
I don't think so. He's doing bad.
Yeah.
But they take out Farquhar, and then that's when Kitty and the other magicians arrive at the Glass Palace. And then that's when we get, because Bartimaeus is in his head and can tell like Nathaniel's cycled down to like...
I thought he did get hit because Kitty comments on it.
No, it happens after. Because Nathaniel encounters Kitty
right,
again.
There's like a couple interactions with Kitty.
He lights up, and Bartimaeus is like, these two. And that's when they develop the plan where Nathaniel's like, Bartimaeus and I will distract Nauda. You free this like group of like people that Nauda's collected to like feed off of. And so that's when they do that. That's when he gets hit.
Yes.
By a detonation. He also destroys Devereaux.
Nice.
Prime Minister Devereaux, who's been taken over by a demon. And then that's when he gets hit, and he's been hit real bad in the side. And they free the people, they get him out. Kitty comes over and sees it as well. And they have this last interaction where Nathaniel's desperate to get Kitty to flee.
Yeah.
Because he's like, the one chance we have is if we unlock all of the barriers on Gladstone's staff and basically detonate it. Because so far,
bring down the
just...
Glass Palace on us. Because Nauda is too powerful to like defeat with magic. But if a bunch of iron crashes through his body, that'll do it.
Yeah. And then we get only Kitty's perspective of Kitty leaving the Glass Palace.
The final moment when they say goodbye, Kitty's like, well, take the amulet at least because that'll protect you. And Nathaniel is struggling to come up with a reason why she should take it. And Bartimaeus helps him by saying, oh, no, like we can't have the amulet because it'll like suck up too much of the magic from the staff. And he's like, was that good enough? And Nathaniel's like, pretty good. And it's so sad. I can't.
Yeah.
Okay, so like Jino said, we get it only from Kitty's perspective at this point. Like the Glass Palace crashes.
A giant explosion.
There's a giant explosion. Then you get the aftermath.
Yeah. When I said the staff was a nuclear bomb, that wasn't just figurative. That was literal.
Yes. And so then we get the aftermath of now there's like still a couple like demons loose that they have to round up, but they've formed like a temporary committee of both commoners and surviving magicians, and they're trying to work together. Miss Piper is like begging Kitty to stay and help because she's like, this is too much.
These crazy commoners are asking for rights?
Yeah.
Gross. Kitty, talk them
They're
sense into
asking
them.
not to be surveilled constantly.
Yeah.
And Kitty's like, you guys will figure it out. I believe in you. And she's like, I'm going to go travel. I think I might go to Egypt. I want to see the world.
Yeah.
I've been through a lot.
I'm tired.
I'm so old.
I'm tired, Grandpa.
Yeah.
She's reverse Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah.
She's reverse Sophie.
Then we get a final moment where she goes up to the
Oh, it comes before she like has the final conversation with Miss Piper.
Oh, right. Yeah. She does go to the Glass Palace one last time to say...
She says that you promised to come back and you didn't.
She says so much for your promises.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh.
However, up until this moment, I still was like, maybe there's a way they survived. Okay?
And then they pop out of the rubble.
No, like, okay, so my thought was like, I don't think that Nathaniel ever sees Kitty again, but I could see a world in which he defeats Nauda and manages to survive and then just decides to leave London. Because he's just like, I don't know what else to do with my life.
Do you know what I thought would happen? I thought that he would go to the other place with Bartimaeus.
I also considered that.
And
I
just
was like,
be there permanently.
Yeah. Before we found out what happened to Ptolemy, I thought that might have happened too. But then we get one last chapter.
And it's a flashback.
And it's a flashback, and it's the final moments fighting Nauta. And Bartimaeus is like talking about heroic deaths and how he doesn't really understand the point of them because at the end, you're still dead.
Yeah.
But he's like ready to go out with a bang. And then this is when I realized Nathaniel says Bartimaeus' name. And I was like, no!
Is it the ellipses? Bartimaeus. Yeah. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
And they bicker because Nathaniel insults Bartimaeus. He's like, you've been a good servant, but you still managed to mess things up. And Bartimaeus is like, what the heck, man?
We're about to die.
Well, first he's mad because Nathaniel gives him a compliment of, you're a good servant. And the Bartimaeus is like, what do you even say to that? Like, normally I would retort or like blow a raspberry, but we're in the same body, so I can't do that. And it's not very satisfying.
Yeah, he's like, you ever tried to flip yourself off?
Yeah.
It doesn't really go well.
Then Nathaniel starts insulting Bartimaeus by saying, but even then you've managed to mess things up. Bartimaeus is like, what the heck? Like, what's going on? And then Nathaniel says, and that's why I'm dismissing you. And Bartimaeus is again like, what the heck?
If you dismiss me, the staff goes off immediately.
And Nathaniel's like, well, because like this is the only way to guarantee that it'll happen at the exact moment that I want it to. Because Bartimaeus, you're just always messing things up. And so Nathaniel dismisses Bartimaeus. The staff explodes. Bartimaeus leaves.
Nathaniel's final gift.
And Bartimaeus, this last paragraph broke me, guys.
You could just read
I'm
it.
just going to read it.
Read it.
Nathaniel says, say hello to Kitty for me. Then Nauta was upon us. Mouths opened, tentacles slashed down. Nathaniel finished the dismissal. I went, the staff broke. A typical master. Right to the end, he didn't give me a chance to get a word in edgeways. Which is a pity, because at that last moment, I'd have liked to tell him what I thought of him. Mind you, since in that split second we were, to all intents and purposes, one and the same, I rather think he knew anyway.
Oh, so good.
Guys!
It's like we said at the beginning, it's one of those endings where you're like, oh, I wish it could have been any other way. But at the same time, you know in your heart, this is the only way it ever could have been.
Yeah.
This is the only ending for Nathaniel.
Yeah.
He has done so many terrible things. He's enacted such cruelty and he's learned so much. But he's like, Nathaniel's right about himself. Like, what does he do after this? What can he as a character do after this?
His entire life has been dedicated to maintaining the empire of the magicians.
Yeah.
And so without that, he doesn't even know who he is.
Yeah.
All he has is this fixation on Kitty
Yeah.
at this point.
He's also spent most of his life enslaving Bartimaeus.
Yeah.
What better way to not rectify that, but to like bring some justice to that scenario than to give his life to save Bartimaeus?
Yeah.
Narratively, it's the perfect... People talk about redemption through death. I don't think you can. This is the perfect instance of that, I think.
Yeah.
And it's like,
But it's not a sudden redemption.
Yeah.
It's like, it's built over this entire book. This book is like John Mandrake falling apart and Nathaniel coming back.
Yeah. And the
so,
point isn't the death. The point is saving Bartimaeus' life.
It just so happened to end in death.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the last moment, because Nathaniel, for half of this book, like we said, is just wanting someone to tell him that he's still a good person. He gets rejected justifiably.
Yeah.
Time after time. But I can't even put into words. There's so much said in that last paragraph in what Bartimaeus doesn't say, what he thinks of Nathaniel. But it's like very clear that in the end, like Nathaniel has reached the point of redemption. And Bartimaeus probably had at least one nice thing to say about him.
I think, and it's been literal years, but like at the very beginning of the first book, we get this idea, I think, that Nathaniel, like all he really wants is like to be respected, to be loved, to be like admired. But he really just wants like a positive connection with someone. And then he spends the entire trilogy destroying every chance for that. And so the fact that his very last moment is like basically Bartimaeus saying, I think you're pretty good. I think you're all right. That's beautiful to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me a lot emotionally of the ending of Gregor. But I think there's a big difference there. When I finished Gregor for the first time, I was like, I can think of so many different ways this could have gone.
Yeah.
And I understand emotionally and like story structure wise why this is the perfect ending for Gregor. But me as the reader, I'm like, but for Bartimaeus,
Even when you reread it recently.
even when I reread it, I was like, but
yeah.
come on, Luke's son Gregor, come on. But in this one, I'm like, this is perfect. It's perfect every which way. Not knocking Gregor at all. They are similar in like tone and like sort of the darkness in their stories, even though they're for children. But Bartimaeus is perfect. It is a perfect ending. So good.
I'm almost interested to hear what you think, like comparing your experience with the series now versus your experience with the series after just book 1 or just book 2.
Ooh. There was a fear I had, not a fear, but a concern I had after book 1, where I was like, you've built this really detailed, layered, and oppressive world. And you've established this like cycle of empire, cycle of magic sort of thing. How will you bring the series to an end and create a realistic and tangible change in your world through character action that pushes for and also like touches on breaking this cycle of empire, cycle of magic? And I think in this way also the book is perfect because it shows that like change is not sudden. It takes a lot of work from a lot of people doing like a very hard job and disagreeing a lot. And like the ruling class will not go quietly and they will not just vanish and disappear and say, I'm sorry. And they will keep trying to persevere. And it's like, you can't just take over. You can't be Quentin Makepeace and just take over. That's not how it works. And so like it leaves with this promise of the attempt to change things for the better. Like demons are still enslaved, but Kitty prompts that like maybe we can start working that back slowly. Commoners still are oppressed, but like the commoners on like this council now, and again, the promise that maybe things will get better.
Yeah, the night police are gone.
The night police are gone, and we didn't even have to fire them because Jane Farrar marched them into battle, and now she's gone too.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened. It's so nuanced and so beautiful the way that this book begins to crack the cycle of magic, the cycle of empire, without like breaking it in a way that's almost cartoonish or just ignoring it entirely, a la some other magical series that we won't talk about here, but they're just like, it's back to normal. Hooray. Is normal good? Don't think about it. So it's really great. I'm really, really impressed.
Yeah, I agree. I think at the end of the second book, which I still think is my favorite of the 3, just slightly over Ptolemy's Gate. I mean, Ptolemy's Gate is so good in a different way, but like I feel like the second book is like just like the peak of like everything that I loved about this series, which is like all the conspiracies and then like the world building and like getting to like hang out with these characters is fun.
Yeah.
But I definitely was at the end just unsure like where the third book was gonna go. I was like, obviously Makepeace is behind everything, but like how are they gonna deal with that? Like what's gonna be the consequence? Bartimaeus has said it will take 50 plus years for commoners to build up enough resistance to even begin thinking about rising up.
Yeah.
Kitty's like, I don't want to wait that long. And I was like, yeah, but there's nothing that you as one single person can do. So I was just like not sure how it was going to end. And if it had been like an ending where, everything is fixed magically by like this huge event, that still would be unsatisfying because that's just not reality. And that's just not how things work. And especially like with the way that this world has been crafted, it would be a disservice to it if Jonathan Stroud had just been like, yes, and we killed all the important people and so everything is fine now. No, it's like there's still a lot of really hard work to do. It's just that Kitty and Nathaniel's part in it is over.
Yeah.
Ptolemy did this like really impactful thing by being the first person to cross over to the other place. But even then, like the ripples of that decision took so long to come into fruition.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it would have happened faster if he had been able to finish his book to the extent that he wanted. But even then, I could see, like, I don't think that people would have been as receptive to it as he hoped. Just because the natural inclination of humans with power is to just acquire power for themselves and not necessarily to broker peace with, like, the spirits that you are enslaving.
Yeah.
I was curious what you guys think about, like, even though, like, Ptolemy and Bartimaeus have this really unique relationship, at the end of the day, they are still technically master and slave in a way, because Ptolemy gave Bartimaeus a gift by dismissing him in order to save his life. But I could see it being like Bartimaeus never got a choice. Like, if Bartimaeus wanted to choose to die for Ptolemy, maybe that's his right, you know?
I think it was by the end of that whole sequence with Ptolemy and Bartimaeus, I think Ptolemy even has to point out, like, you haven't been constrained by the boundaries imposed on you by a pentacle in like a number of years.
Yeah.
And Bartimaeus has to remember, like, oh yeah, I am
Technically
free.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's Bartimaeus' right to give his life for Ptolemy if he wants, but it's within Ptolemy's power to save his friend.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Ptolemy was bad for dismissing Bartimaeus, obviously. I just think it's like the system of magic is inherently so unbalanced already that it takes so much work to even get to a point where it feels mostly equal. And even then, it's technically not.
Yeah.
And I think I like that.
I really like it's really complicated and nuanced.
Because it requires intentionality.
Yeah.
And you can't glide by anything in those, like, interactions between, like, people and spirits.
There's an equation to be made with our world with, like, some of the, like, conveniences that we hold, like, here, like in America, right? Like, I don't know, like electricity or whatever. Like, so many people have to suffer. And if you think about this too much, you might get, your brain might break. But, like, so many people have to suffer just so I can charge my phone.
Right.
Right? And, like, if this was a fictional world, someone might say, like, the best thing to do is stop making phones or stop producing electricity. Just stop it. But, like, in the world of Bartimaeus, like, magic and demons are so intrinsically essential to how their society works that, like, they can't just stop.
I mean, even Kitty having gone to the other place and understanding what it actually means to summon demons and be enslaved, she's like, all of you guys, like, summon as many demons as you can so that we can help the commoners and save lives.
It's something that, like, I think everyone should grapple with at some point, but, like, there's this push and pull between, like, I understand, I'm about to reference another property. Like The Good Place, like, every action we have has such a wide ripple effect of, like, positive and negative consequences that there's, like, no possible way one single person can do absolutely nothing to harm anyone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's still worthwhile to try and amend and improve conditions for everyone, even if
it's imperfect.
It's imperfect and it's so hard, but it's worth trying.
Yeah.
And I think with Ptolemy's case, like, when he first summoned demons in, it's just to ask questions. You're still locking them in a pentacle, but at least, like, maybe they saw his intention was different. And eventually the relationship developed into a point of, like, you're free, I'm free. Like, I give you this unique experience and you give me information and protection. I was worried at a certain point halfway through Ptolemy's story that, like, oh, Ptolemy might devolve into a proper magician because he keeps sending them out to, like, fix things for his people. But, like, eventually, it's complicated. It's like you said, it's complicated.
Yeah.
I like how honest the writing is then with the story, because it's not, we don't turn Ptolemy into a saint.
Yeah.
He is still a magician.
He's so stubborn.
He's still,
And he's so narrow-minded in a lot of important things, including his own safety.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no shortcuts cut with that. He has flaws and he has redemptive qualities, like all the different characters.
Yeah. What a great book.
It's so good.
Thank you, Michael.
Yay.
Thank you for making us read this.
Thank you for doing this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm glad we all get to do this because I may not have, like, reread the Bartimaeus sequence, at least not as soon as we had. And I'm so glad that I got to, and I'm glad that I got to share it with the both of you. And I'm so glad that you liked it.
Yeah. I can truly and wholeheartedly recommend this to anyone of any age. Well, maybe there's a lower limit. But anyone, it doesn't feel like we read a lot of like books for young adults or for children. This feels like a good story that anyone can take anything from. Or anyone can take something from. So seriously, listener, please check this out if you haven't. And if you already have, hey, now
read it again.
Run it back. Come on.
I mean, that's why I'm so glad that I own all these books, is that I can run it back anytime.
Yeah.
I do need to take a little break from it, though.
Probably.
I'm still emotionally devastated.
Well, you were doing the thing that I think we all do when we finish an emotionally devastating thing, where it's like, I got to go to the internet and look at the forums.
Yeah.
I need other voices. I need to go to the other place and soak in the soup.
Mm-hmm. There's a prequel to these 3 books. Are there any other books in this world?
Not to my knowledge. And I haven't read the prequel either.
I'm so curious about Boston, Massachusetts. I don't need a story. I just want a Wikipedia page about what's going on over there.
Dear Jonathan Stroud, if you could just email us your notes about Boston, Massachusetts, that would be awesome.
The driest, like on this date, 4,000 troops marched through Boston. Like, I just want to know what's happening over there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to Nostalgia Club. If you enjoyed, please leave a rating. It really helps us out on your podcast app of choice. You can also leave a comment, because we read all those, and email us at nostalgicalpodcast@gmail.com with any suggestions or notes or corrections, or just say hi. We also have an Instagram at Nostalgia Club Podcast, and we're under MouseKnight Studios everywhere, with another show called Ghost Inspectors, which is an audio drama by Victoria Cheng about 2 ghosts who have to solve their own murder. And we have a Ko-fi. If you want to give us money so we can make more podcasts better and faster.
Yeah.
And until next time, everyone say it together.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
I was thinking of all the different things we could quote here, but no, we'll do a bit instead.
Okay, no. Let's do a serious quote.
Well, I can't actually think of
No,
one.
we gotta wrap it up with one last hurrah.
All right. What variation? Are we just going to do classic?
Should we just the classic?
Oh, what is the classic?
What's
What?
the
We've
classic?
done so many iterations, we can't think of the strong...
Wait, no, let's do one that sums up this whole series.
Okay, easy, yeah.
So, strong men create...
Strong
Wait.
Stroud, right? Good book.
Yeah.
Strong Stroud. Okay.
Oh, no. Okay. Tiny, pathetic orphan boy. Okay.
Weak boy,
Make bad deal.
make bad deal. Weak boy, make bad deal. Bad deal, make hard times.
Hard times make loud horn make big clown.
No, okay. How about we do, strong magicians create bad times create
Are you talking about the actual
strong
cycle of
commoners.
empire?
Yeah. Strong commoners creates also angry demons who want to fight back.
So, strong magicians make bad times. Bad times make strong commerce. Strong commerce make bad times. Bad times make strong magicians.
no,
Strong
no,
magicians
hold on.
make bad times.
Wait.
I'm not doing it right.
Strong magicians make big empire.
Yes.
Big empire make many wars. Many wars make bad time. Bad time make big coup.
Yeah.
Big coup make strong demons. Strong demons make worse time. Worse time make a bond that can only sever with death. Makes
Good times.
good times.
No. Strong times make peace. No, okay. Quentin Makepeace is a crazy name. It's so obvious that he's bad. I said that it's in our
on
last
par with
episode.
Pennyfeather.
Yeah.
I love Quentin Makepeace as a character.
He's so fun.
He's so fun. He's such a goofy guy.
I knew when he was going to go, too. So I was like, bye, Quentin.
Yeah.
I don't think a visual adaptation of this is a good idea because of the fact that children age. But I think there are aspects of this that would be
Well, but
so good.
actually,
I think they could do it.
I'm thinking about Ptolemy.
okay.
Because
that's
so
fair.
Bartimaeus as a visual adaptation is so interesting.
Yeah.
Because there's no one Bartimaeus. He is
Yeah.
Ptolemy. He is
Yeah.
Kitty.
It's
he
like,
is-
how do you do it?
Yeah, he's
It's gotta be
animals.
animated.
He's demons. It has to be animated.
Yeah. But I was just going to say, compared to other children's trilogies or series, there are significant time jumps.
That's
So
true.
it's actually okay if, like, you cast, like, a 6-year-old as Nathaniel and then a 14-year-old and then a 17-year-old.
You would have to like film all of these together in rapid succession because the Ptolemy issue is like a thing.
Yeah.
Because you get Ptolemy in book 1.
Yeah, and you need a Ptolemy who's good for book 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ptolemy is the trickiest part of it. I was just thinking about Nathaniel and Kitty.
I just think, imagine being the actor for Kitty Jones.
Yeah.
And then book 3 comes around and you're like, I get to be Bartimaeus for a lot of this.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But it would have to be young Kitty Jones. Never
But the
mind.
Nathaniel actor also gets to be Bartimaeus at
That's
the end.
true. Everyone gets a turn being Bartimaeus. It's the perfect gig.
Oh my gosh, we have to talk about this moment where Bartimaeus, after he merges with Nathaniel and then he starts seeing Nathaniel's memories, some of it is like maybe Nathaniel's parents that he like barely remembers, and then Kitty's there, and then Bartimaeus is like, and then I saw Ptolemy. And then I realized that's not Ptolemy, that's me as Ptolemy. And I was just like,
Oh, yeah. And he talks about how by being Ptolemy, he has preserved Ptolemy's image. It's not just like, he's not just like paying him respect, but he's like preserving the idea of him.
yeah.
I guess I can't quantify it. It's better in the book. Hey, read the book.
Yeah. So many things. I feel like I could talk about this forever. I'm just so sad. Man. Nathaniel's arc is just so well done with all the ups and downs of like, you're not a good person, but you're...
He's always compelling.
Yeah.
He's the perfect example of a good character's fall and then having a bad person as your protagonist and then a good redemption arc.
Yeah.
All at once.
So good.
While being compelling the whole time.
And it helps that the like core trio is so good too.
Mm-hmm.
And when they all come together, it's so satisfying.
Yeah. I just think it's so funny when they come together that they're all in such bad shape.
Yeah. They're all in such bad shape and they're all like bickering. Nathaniel's arguing with Bartimaeus and Kitty's like, guys, can we just let it go for a little bit?
And then
Yeah.
Nathaniel and Bartimaeus
are like, look.
get a load of this one.
Yeah. It's so good. One last thing. The ending of Ptolemy's Gate kind of parallels with the end of the Golem's Eye because both times Bartimaeus wasn't able to get in a last word about what he thought about Nathaniel.
It's ironic because he spends the whole book yapping his head off.
Yeah.
And he can't get that last
Yeah.
word in.
That's it. Until next time, dear Jonathan Stroud, thank you for your work. Also, why? No, I'm kidding. I know it's a perfect ending, but it makes it more sad for me.